As I mentioned this morning, even among the scientists, more and more people now realize calm mind, peaceful mind is very essential. It's very important part of meaningful life or happy life. So the value of materialistic life now itself now showing something lacking. Clear. I think those people, in Thai remote area, villages, and also here in Dharamsala, and even among Tibetan, who still, you see, they not sufficient about material because of the facilities. They are very, very eager. Now many Tibetan, illegally, you see, immigrate America and Canada. I usually see telling Tibetan directly, frankly, Tibetan also want modernization. So my reason, you see, I'm not seeking separation. For our own interest. So therefore, I mentioned, you see, Tibetan also want money. Tibetan also want modernization. Therefore, you see, number of Tibetan who illegally, you see, went to America, not seeking Buddha Dharma, but seeking dollar. So that's fact. So therefore, those people who lack material facilities, these people still feel their first priority is stomach, physical comfort. Now those people who already sort of got every facility, now they begin feel something lacking. Now in China, recently, one Chinese university carries survey how many Buddhists in China. So according to their survey, nearly 300 millions of Chinese. Among them, many educated, young educated people. Majority of them, these type of people, not farmer. So that also shows the people who have the better facility. Now they feel still something lacking, something empty. So now here is the point is education. Now Buddhists simply pray to Buddha, Buddham Shanam Gajami, Dhammam Shanam Gajami. Even you see they purely meant for money, meant for dollar, Buddham Shanam Gajami. Wrong. So once you see people knows what is Dharma and implement, then really get some sort of taste, then feel the real value of Dharma. So for that, firstly, they should educate. What is the real Dharma? What is Buddha's teaching? Just simply, one of my younger brother, who recently visited Australia, when he returned from Australia through Singapore, he in sort of same roadway, same road. No. One Chinese lady looks to see rich sort of lady, rich family. Then in their sort of casual talk, and she mentioned she is Buddhist. Then my brother is politely asked, "What is Buddhism?" Then she mentioned in front of Buddha some incense, right?
No incense.
Some incense. That is Buddhism. She mentioned. And quite often, you see, I visit some, you see, Buddhist community area in Ladakh and the Kunun, this area. And one time in last year in Lucknow, some Buddhist student there. So yellow sort of clothes. So they say they study Buddhism. Then I ask, what is Buddhism? They also recite Buddham Shanam Gacchami, Dhammam Shanam Gacchami. Then I asked one student, what is Buddhism? No answer. Then another occasion, one Buddhist, I asked, what is Buddhism? Then his answer is, Buddham Shanam Gacchami, Dhammam Shanam Gacchami, Sangham Shanam Gacchami. Repeat that, recite that, that's Buddhism. No. These are clearly shows lack of knowledge about Buddha Dharma. Unless we study years, just simply traditional way, Buddham Shanam Gacchami, Dhammam Shanam Gacchami, not Buddhism. Particularly those who refuge.
Taking refuge in the three wells. Taking refuge only by words.
Meant for wealth, meant for health. It's not Buddhism. Isn't it? Like that. So therefore, I think education or study of Buddhism is very essential. Now I'm over 76-year-old, but still I consider myself as a Buddhist student. Still I read, study, and contemplate as much as possible. Like that. Tak waliso.
년도가 되는 숭바닥에 타바더니 제 안에 탐색해 봤더니 많이 냠내시
했어. Now, Theravada tradition, usually, I think, unfortunately, there is some kind of impression, the wrong impression. As yesterday I mentioned, so-called Hinayana and Mahayana. And people have the feeling completely different. That's absolutely wrong. The Theravada teaching is the foundation of Buddha Dharma. Then Bodhisattva Yana, sometimes you see called Mahayana. That's specialized about altruism. And then philosophical field, the further sort of discussion about shunyata, as I mentioned earlier, Chitta Mantra school of thought and Madhyamika school of thought. And within each Chitta Mantra school of thought and Madhyamika school of thought, within that there are different views. So it is quite sort of useful. In Tibetan tradition, we study all these different viewpoints, all these texts wrote by different Nalanda masters. It's immensely helpful. So all these so-called Mahayana sort of tradition is based foundation of Buddha Dharma, that is Four Noble Truth and the 37 practice, or these things. And particularly Vinaya is the foundation of Buddha Dharma. Buddha himself mentioned where Vinaya practice there, Buddha feel
his presence. His presence.
Is present. So whether there is Buddhism or not is actually where monk community and the three practice, monsoon practice, the retreat, and these three practice there, Buddhism there. That no longer there, no longer Buddhism. So like that. So therefore, unless you know these things, then is the people from Theravada country, they say, oh, Tibetan Mahayana. Almost something like non-Buddhist. Some Western authors also describe Tibetan Buddhism as Lamaism. As this morning I mentioned, unfortunately, in Tibetan community, Tibetan society, last several centuries, Tulku become like social status. I'm highest. So almost like the social status.
No.
Absolutely wrong. He also, you see, a small
Reincarnation.
Tulku. He is not. But actual sense, he carries some teaching in his own monastery. He is actually Lama. And he also carries some teaching. So Lama. So hopefully I'm also little Lama carrying some teaching. So unfortunately, some people satisfied or contented with big name, Tulku, and high seat, high throne. Knowledge, zero. Experience, zero. How can be a teacher like that? Nowadays, I'm quite bluntly telling people, and also to the Chinese, there are false lamas, false Tulku, now coming, seeking sex, seeking money. Absolutely wrong. I think Thai may be less danger. Maybe. I don't know. Same. As I mentioned yesterday, inspired some rubbish monk. Generally, you see, the Thai Buddhist monk, you see, very good tradition, very good tradition, wonderful tradition. Of course, some mischievous monk always there. That's understandable. I always is telling publicly, from Muslim community, some mischievous Muslim always there. That's unusual. This is not unusual. So some mischievous people among the Christian also there, among the Hindus also there, among the Jews also there, among the Muslims also there. So these terrorist activities is carried by some of these mischievous Muslims. That's understandable. Due to that, blame whole Muslim is something wrong. It's totally unfair. So some mischievous people, among the Buddhists also there, among the Tibetan Buddhists also some mischievous people who can involve murder, stealing, telling lie, there, on sex, like that. This morning also, I mentioned it very bluntly, some Tibetan wear monk's robe, but with wife. Very unfortunate. Now these days, you say, I publicly mention. Now, unfortunately, we develop a very strange sort of vocabulary. Monk with wife, monk without wife. Very unfortunate. Monk should be celibate. Right?
No.
Otherwise, no longer monk. So mainly, you see, Mongolian monk, during revolution period, understandable. You see, few old monk with wife, you see, they really keep their tradition in their own monastery. Okay. So one time in Mongolia, one Mongolian abbot, the main monastery is abbot, introduced me. This is my daughter. I surprised. Then later, you say, I bluntly told them, if you monk, it should be genuine monk. Monk with wife is impossible. I think 2 years ago, I was in Warsaw, in Poland. One Poland university's professor, one lady, who studied about Mongolia, who has some research work about Mongolia. She asked me, Mongolian monk told her, some Mongolian monk told her, we Mongolian monk, modernized monk, we should allow marriage. She asked me whether that's possible or not. Then I told her, no, monks rule, Buddha set up. So we cannot say modern time something different. No. 2,600 years of Buddha's rule must keep sincerely. I told her. So some Mongolian monk really want to liberalize.
No.
Liberalization.
No.
Oh,
Civilized kind of.
But civilized,
modernized.
Liberalization now.
Liberalization.
Perhaps this life, for a short period, liberalize, then next life, go ahead.